Hey guys, so today we're going to be looking at the single best breathing technique which we can do at any time of the day to rapidly reduce our stress levels and to restore calmness to our lives. So let's jump in. What is the breathing technique? Dr Andrew Huberman is an American neuroscientist and tenured professor in the Department of Neurobiology at the Stanford University School of Medicine. Dr Huberman's lab started studying stress in humans, and they posed the question, what are the patterns of breathing that allow for the most rapid reduction in stress levels? But not only that, they wanted a breathing pattern that could be performed in real time. In other words, you don't have to stop what you're doing to find a quiet spot where you can meditate for 10 minutes or do a full session of yoga. They wanted something that can be used at any time of the day. In fact, they wanted something that could be performed even whilst you're in the situation that is causing your stress levels to skyrocket. Their research found that the optimal technique to fit this criteria is what is known as the physiological sigh. The physiological sigh is a pattern of breathing involving 2 inhales followed by an extended exhale. So here's an example. It's also worth mentioning that the optimal way to perform this is to inhale twice using your nose, but to exhale using your mouth. But if you can't do this for whatever reason, perhaps you have a blocked nose or something, then simply use whichever airway you can breathe through, as it will still benefit you greatly. This technique was discovered in the 1930s as a pattern of breathing that people go into spontaneously, especially when they are in a claustrophobic environment or in deep sleep when there is a buildup of carbon dioxide in the bloodstream. Funnily enough, animals actually use this physiological sigh too. If you have a dog, observe it as it's winding down and getting ready for bed late at night. You'll notice that they start using these physiological sighs to calm their bodies to help them fall asleep. Also, when children and adults sob, what they are in effect doing is performing a physiological sigh to calm down their central nervous system. And although us humans and other animals adopt this breathing pattern autonomously, we can perform this breathing pattern whenever we feel like it, at any point in the day, and we will gain the same stress-busting benefits. Why is the second inhale important? So to recap, the breathing technique consists of 2 inhales followed by an extended exhale. So you might be wondering, why is the second inhale actually important? Well, good question, and here's the answer. Your lungs aren't just 2 big bags of air. They are filled with loads of tiny sacs which are called alveoli. And the purpose of these tiny sacs is to increase the surface area of our lungs, as this allows our body to take in more oxygen and offload more carbon dioxide. In fact, we have so many of these tiny sacs that the surface area of both of our lungs combined is roughly the same size as a tennis court. When we perform the second inhale, we reinflate any of these sacs which have collapsed, which happens when we are stressed, and this allows us to offload even more carbon dioxide in one big go, and this is why the second inhale is so crucial. Another question you might be asking is, why is the exhale extended? So, our diaphragm is the dome-shaped muscle beneath our lungs, and when we inhale, our lungs expand and this moves our diaphragm down. When this happens, we create more space in our thoracic cavity, which is basically a fancy word for our chest cavity, and our heart actually expands. And since our heart now has a larger volume, blood flows more slowly through that larger volume, and the brain sends a signal down to the heart to tell it to speed up. So in summary, inhales speed our heart up. Whereas for exhales, the exact opposite happens. The diaphragm moves up, our thoracic cavity becomes smaller, our heart now has less volume, which results in blood flowing more quickly, so the brain sends a signal to the heart telling it to slow down. So, any time that your exhales are longer than your inhales, your heart rate slows down and you are calming your nervous system. This is why we want to extend the exhale when we are performing the physiological sigh. Lastly, how many times do we need to perform this physiological sigh to feel the benefits? Do we have to do it for 10 minutes? For half an hour a day perhaps? Luckily, we bloody well don't have to do it for this long. Just 1, 2 or 3 physiological sighs are enough to bring your levels of stress down incredibly fast. And this is what Dr Andrew Huberman's lab wanted to find, right? They wanted a technique that could be used in real time so that we could combat stressful situations immediately. So, whenever I notice my stress levels rising, I perform 3 physiological sighs with nice long extended exhales, and instantly I can feel my body start to relax. So try this for yourself if you don't believe me. And this is a tool that you can carry around with you wherever you go. Perhaps you're about to sit an exam and you're getting yourself worked up, or perhaps you're about to give a presentation at work and you're feeling really nervous. simply perform this exercise to slow your heart rate down and restore a sense of calm. What's also great about this is that the people around you won't even realise that you're feeling stressed out, because the method of calming yourself is so subtle. Whereas, if you had to excuse yourself from the room to go hide somewhere to be able to squeeze in 10 minutes of meditation, that would be a bit inconvenient to say the least. And as a final point, I personally find that I store tension in my shoulders when I'm experiencing a bit of stress. For other people, they might store tension in their jaw by unconsciously clenching it, or perhaps even in their forehead. But if you notice that you store tension in a particular part of your body, I recommend consciously trying to relax that part of your body whilst you are exhaling during the physiological sigh. So, give this a go and see if you can keep calm and collected when life puts you in a stressful situation. And that's all from me, guys. If you'd like to support the channel, please smash the like button and hit subscribe. Also, drop me a comment below. Let me know what you do to calm yourself down when you're feeling worked up. I'd also like to give a big thank you to Dr Andrew Huberman and the team at his lab for sharing their findings on this subject. I first learnt about this technique when listening to Dr Andrew Huberman's podcast, which I highly recommend. So, I'll leave links to Dr Huberman's YouTube channel, his website and his social media accounts, all that kind of stuff below if you want to check out more of his work. As always, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.